Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update for the 10th of December 2021, where this is world cases and they're trending up again. Deaths, thankfully, were going down, but first sign that maybe they're going up. So this week we're going to be taking a look at Omicron and, should we worry about this or not worry about it or what? But before we get on to that, I want to take a rough look at how the world's doing in general. These are the world numbers at the moment. Deaths have they've been kind of plateaued for a couple of years now. This does put it, by the way, as the leading cause of death in, or close to the leading cause of death in most countries, which, seeing as the leading cause of death in most countries is things like alcohol, whatever. It's still a lot of people die from this. Anyway, for the world, we're looking at 250 million confirmed cases, quarter of a billion, of which about 5 million have died. So this is, even all this way in, we're still, for the world, looking at about a 2% mortality on this. And you take a look at the US, the last time we took a look at the US, it was just maybe starting to trend upwards. Now this is trending upwards. Deaths, well, they usually lag a bit, but we'll see how this goes. And let's take a look how we're doing all the way over here in Europe. So Germany, this is what vaccines do for you. For the first wave or second or third or whatever this one was. For this wave here, rough ballpark peak height. They're different scales, of course, but it doesn't matter. This peak here is 2-3 times the height of this one. And now for the latest wave, when there've been lots of vaccinations, the infections are still crazy, but the fatalities are way down. So, vaccination can cut your fatality rate by a factor of 4, something like that, which is also kind of what you see in the UK. I mean, the UK's got very bad in its cases, and arguably this is going to surge. If I'm making any predictions, the UK is going to get very bad very quickly. It's starting to cook up with the Omicron, and we'll come to Omicron shortly. Should we worry about it? Should we not worry about it? But thankfully in the UK, the deaths really haven't picked up. And Russia was doing very badly, and arguably they've turned a corner on a peak. But Russia has never really got this thing under control. And you come down to places like Poland, where the vaccination rate is not as high, and now you sort of see, that these peaks were roughly of equal height, and these peaks were roughly of equal height. You don't get the vaccinations, the death rate basically follows lockstep with your cases. But Poland's looking very bad. The John Hopkins site, by the way, now is reporting the data every week. So each one of these little lines here is a week. And Czechia is almost as bad as it's ever been, but this is arguably turning a corner. It's leveling out. I follow these numbers fairly closely. Anyway, the one that I really wanted to show you is coming all the way down to South Africa, which is, of course, where they first found Omicron. Canada, South Africa. Oh my word. South Africa. There we go. Perfect. And this is what is really worrying, is you take a look at all the previous waves and how long they took to cook up. And the cook up time is, long time. It's a month that you're looking at here. You take a look at the cook up time with Omicron, and it's like, yeah. So these things are exponents. And all the numbers I've seen so far suggest that the spread rate on Omicron is at least 2 times that of Delta. But thus far, thankfully, the fatality rate doesn't look so bad. So there are a couple of ways this might pan out. And it's kind of out of our hands. Well, actually, not entirely. So the first thing that can happen is it's hugely infectious and not very fatal, which means that you essentially get immunization by a virus. It infects everyone, everyone gets sick-ish, everyone gets antibodies, and it's kind of done. Um, However, this is the way that viruses normally go, right? So let's come over to, here we go. Yeah, we're good. Viruses, over time, they tend to be more contagious. So how contagious they are goes up, contagion, and how fatal they are goes down. Because if a virus kills you before you spread it, then the virus doesn't spread as well. So fatal viruses have a built-in self-limitation to them. However, um, for things to go south, um, you need two things to happen. You need a, a high mortality on your virus. So it needs to kill lots of, basically if you get it, you need a high chance of dying from it. And you need, that's a multiplication, you need it to have high transmissibility. Now, the virus has to achieve both of these things to make life very miserable for us. And whilst it is against the expectations that the virus that is highly transmittable will also, with another little mutation, actually also become a very bad day. It's also not unheard of in there's the 2018. It was the 1918 pandemic. That had waves to it as well. And the first wave had very high transmissibility and low mortality. Right, first wave wasn't so bad, and then it mutated and it started killing people. So just because this is the expected trend over time, that doesn't necessarily mean you're out of the woods. So at the moment, it's highly transmissible. That's fantastic as long as it doesn't gain its second function. So, yeah, I mean, all we can really do is keep our fingers crossed. Incidentally, having a highly transmissible virus, the more virus there is in the wide world, let's get this back down here. The more virus there is in the wide world, the greater the chances of more mutations. And so, yeah, we don't want the US, we want the world. And yeah, so this constant level of there being lots of virus in the world is what brought us all of these variants. And this is why it would have been nice if it could have all been shut down here. It wasn't, and that sucks, but this is spilt milk. The bottom line, though, is people are universally sick to death of it. Lockdowns and variants and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, the only way I see people taking it seriously now is if it starts clogging hospitals and, you get the sort of, the disaster scenes where, they're bodies in refrigerated trucks, that sort of thing. Without that, I don't see anyone paying a lot of attention to this. So, I mean, after that, we just got to keep our fingers crossed that it's highly transmissible and it stays and we never pick up the high mortality. But, it's a crapshoot. So, let's just keep our fingers crossed with this one. Anyway, so that's the... actually, no, there's one last thing. Even if it's just very highly transmissible and has the same mortality rate, or even half the mortality rate, you can still clog up the hospitals. But, I mean, again, I, like everyone else, am sick to death of this. So, think warm, happy thoughts, and I will see you next time. Many thanks for watching. Ciao.